This is
Run Talk Live.
All right, everybody, welcome to a brand new and first time ever live in-person recording of Run Talk Live.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's right. We are meeting for the first time in person. We actually met yesterday for the first time in person. So we met at the Chicago Marathon Expo, which was a good time. Compared to other expos, I guess, how do we want to go? We didn't really discuss how we wanted to talk about this, but we're just talking about Expo. So, to everybody that's in Chicago, hope everybody had a great time at the Expo. If you guys came out to the shakeout run, who was at the shakeout run this morning that we want to shout out to real quick? Lauren, of course.
Lauren, Sarah, Cynthia
stopped by. David.
Yep.
So yeah, we had a pretty decent showing. About 10 to 15 people that came out this morning for the shakeout run. We gave away some prizes. Jake won a Brooks hat that he has been eyeballing forever. So we're really happy that he was able to get that Brooks hat finally, because Carolyn wasn't going to buy him one.
Pretty sure it was rigged. Just saying. Pretty sure it was rigged.
Yeah, no, he had to pry it out of my hands. He was so excited.
No, when I saw that Brooks logo when the hat was left, I was like, this was done on purpose.
So yeah, we had a raffle drawing this morning. I came away with some candy. Carolyn, did you do anything, or did you even put your name in the drawing?
I did not. I helped Lauren host.
Right, because you were helping host.
Yes.
I got some candy. Jake won a Brooks hat that we had to make fun of course.
Yeah. If anybody wants a free Brooks hat,
I'll
be giving one away.
Yeah.
Guess your time tomorrow. You should put up a video.
Guess the time, guess the Brooks hat? Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'm not going to even tell you what I'm shooting for at this point then, so you can't get a heads up on that.
Right. Do we want to talk about goals? What is your goal for tomorrow?
Well, it contradicts everything I just said I wasn't going to do. But no, I'll start and say my goal is 255. That's where I'd like to be, which is a 640 pace. And strategy-wise, I think I'm just going to shoot for a kind of a flat 640 pace along the way. It's going to be hard for the first couple miles, so we'll see. But also, my B goal is just to finish the race and hopefully get under 3 hours. That's my B goal.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm aiming for too. I know that I was going for like a 250, but as we got through the training plan, I kind of adjusted, and I really just want to kind of go out and have fun tomorrow. So I'm going to start out with like a 3-hour group, which should be a comfortable pace for me, and kind of play it by ear from there. But probably not going to see any PRs this weekend unless unless I get out there and I just feel great. Maybe I'll get out there and feel great. You really never know, but probably not.
Yeah.
Carolyn, what about you?
I'm going for a PR. Not my original goal. I injured my hip through my training, but we're still in shape to PR, and we're going for a negative split, which is new for me.
That's what I want to do too. I mean, if I can walk away with this with a negative split, I'll be really happy. Especially if I can maintain that 3-hour pace for the first half and feel good in the second, and I'll feel really good about it.
Now, how do you split up both of you? How do you split up your marathons? Because a negative split could be a negative split for every 5K, or do you negative split for every, are you going to go 26 miles of negative splits, per mile?
Well, I think you could do that, but you can negative split however you want to, and I think in this case, both Carolyn and I are talking about half to half. So
that's what
really just want to run a faster second half than we ran the first half.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, that makes sense. Sounds easier to go for
if
too.
you try to do a negative split over 26 miles, right? It's a lot of work that you got to do in your head. You're constantly doing math, and a lot of us, we do that anyway. Especially the ones of us that are, going after PRs. We're constantly trying to do all these mathematical equations in our heads. Just keep it simple.
Yep. No, I like that. And good goal. And the weather's looking
perfect.
decent, in all honesty, really good.
It is looking good. We noted the wind earlier today, but yesterday, Carolyn, you were talking about how it really isn't such a big deal.
It's not a big deal once you leave the downtown area. It's windy pretty much every year, and it's been really, really beneficial, especially if you start to get hot or,
Right.
So it hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be crazy. To Carolyn's point, you don't even notice it for the first few miles because of all the tall buildings that's surrounding you. It's once you get out of downtown, if you're someone that's never felt wind before, you're going to feel the wind. Like you're going to notice it. But what I don't know is where the headwind is going to be and where the backwind is going to be.
Sure.
So because it's an out and back, right? Well, sort of. It's a loop, but at some point in time, the wind's going to work in your favor.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because it's a loop course. At some point, we'll have it in our face, and at some point, we'll have it in our back.
Yep.
I've definitely been. I'm guilty of overreacting to wind in the past. Like a few years ago, the Indianapolis Monumental was like I think 15, 20 mile per hour winds on race day, and once I knew that, it was like I shut it off. Like, I was like, this PR is not happening today.
Yep.
But after the race that day, I remember thinking like that really wasn't so bad, and I think that I really could have gone after it had I stuck to my original race plan.
Well, when there's this many people,
it's not going to make it.
It's hard to not naturally just draft off someone. Like it's gonna happen, no matter unless you're an elite. Like and even them, you're going to be drafting for a little bit. You're going to be working off each other. So, yeah, we're not going to be up there in the top 20. So we're going to have people in front of us that are going to help
be a part of
that
the crowd.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully that'll help out a lot.
Yeah, and for the people asking, no, we are not going to win the marathon.
Yes, we already established that one
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
I mean, speak for yourselves, guys.
Yeah, because
there's always a chance.
Most of the people that are listening to this are probably runners, but we did have a conversation earlier today about how, like, non-runners, they like to ask that question. They're like, "Oh, so you gonna win?" And I'm like, well, if I am first out of 50,000 people, then I'm in the wrong profession. So.
I mean, last time the winning time was 2 hours and 35 seconds. So.
What? Yeah, exactly. Last year's winner was a world record, so I think I got it in the cards. But like I said, I might not PR today, or I might not PR.
If I don't, it's because of the wind. Like that's the only thing that's holding me back. So.
No. Real quick, because Jake alluded to the time for last year was 2 hours and 35 seconds. We'll do a quick RIP, rest in peace for Kelvin Kipton, because that was the world record time here in Chicago last year, and we did our own little video before one of the episodes back when it actually happened. But.
And I think they're doing something like a memorial video for him.
Yeah.
I saw them saying they were going to do something on the big screens.
Yeah,
so.
I would think so. So it only seems right. It was a year ago yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Was when he actually broke the record. So not when he actually passed away. He passed away
when
earlier
he
this
broke
year.
The record, yeah.
But the world record was broken a year ago yesterday. So
I think if he had been here today or tomorrow for the race, he would have a legitimate shot. If he hasn't done it already at a sub 2 hour marathon on this course, especially with this weather and these conditions.
Yeah.
Because it was actually a little warmer last year for this. So.
And I was reading one of the elites' posts, and she said, we could very well see PRs, and we could very well see times close to the American records. So that's exciting,
Well, what was, and I don't know, maybe you guys offhand, second and third place last year, like how close were they to Kelvin?
Ooh.
it was a few minutes. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I want to say it was a few minutes.
Because I don't think there's anyone that's going to be close to his time this year. There's going to be great times, but I don't think there's going to be someone that's running a sub 201 this year.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not. I don't think we'll see we won't see the record broke down. At least not based off of the field that we saw them put up there. What was that, yesterday or early this morning?
Yeah.
Not anybody that I'm looking at to break the world record.
No, the women's field looks
It's a little
pretty
more
good.
stout,
yeah.
So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to
Americans
watch that.
highlighted by Kira D'Amato, Emily Bates. Anybody else that we're missing?
Sarah Hall.
Sarah Hall's in
is
it.
in
Betsy
there,
Sena.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yep, the
So-
elites on the women's side will be a fun race tomorrow. And I'm sure it'll be a fun race on the men's side too. We just, it's not one of your. We're entering a time period in this sport where, Kipchoge's in the twilight of his years. Kenisi Bekele's in the twilight of his years. Those guys are gone. Kiptum, unfortunately, was taken away from us far too early. So the next guy up, we're waiting to see who that next marathon star is going to be, and we might get the winner of tomorrow's race. May be that next big marathon star that we see in our sport.
Well, what Sarah Hall will be getting is first place Masters.
Oh, wow, yeah.
She's 41 years old, so I
Yeah.
just had to double check. She's 41 years old, so she's getting first place Masters for female anyways. Maybe male, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how old our elite field is as far as the runners go, but I don't think they're over 40. But she is.
I know Bekele was Bekele that set the record, or did Kipchoge set the record for Masters? Or no, Kipchoge's not Masters yet.
Not
Never
yet.
mind.
Not yet.
Bekele is, and he's the one that set the world record for the men's Masters earlier this year.
Goals, something for me to shoot for at the age of 44 now, so.
Well, you found your goal tomorrow.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Training for 255. Yeah, I think I can get in low twos.
You know.
Right.
Cut off 45 minutes of my time.
Sure.
Oh man, it was humbling last year because, talking about Kiptum, so I had just passed the 14-mile marker. I was pumped. I was on par for a PR. And all of a sudden, this guy on the sideline goes, "Oh, by the way, Kiptum broke the world record." And I was like, I still have 12 miles to go. How am I supposed to keep going?
Oh, that's great.
I was like, okay, buddy, you got 12 miles to go.
I'm trying to PR too, Kelvin.
Well, it's
Exactly.
like it's kind of like the one part of the race where you're at mile. I think Cynthia did a video on this, but you're at mile 21, and you can see the people on the other end that are on mile 23 going the opposite direction because you do a loop and you come back.
Yeah.
So at 21, you can see people that are still 2 miles ahead of you coming on the other side. Just a little bit debilitating when you see that.
Oh, yeah.
Demoralizing, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
But it is nice because, I mean, I feel like everybody was cheering each other on at that point. Like, you had 24 milers telling 21 milers, like, keep going, you're almost at this point.
Right, you got a lot of people coming the opposite way of you cheering you on. It's always nice seeing people going through the same pain cheering you on rather than the people that are on the side.
Yeah.
And of course, we appreciate all you people that are going to be cheering us on the side of the
100%.
course. But at the same time, like, you know, we're out there running, so when we see somebody else that's running, that's cheering us on, like, that's what really gets us going. Like, you're hurting, we're hurting, we know what we're doing right now, so we're going to go after it.
So Chase, this is your first time. We've done it before. What are you most excited about as a first-time Chicago Marathon runner?
I don't know. That's a good question. I hadn't really thought of it like that because Chicago for a long time was kind of, it was at the bottom of my list because I'm so close to it. It's the closest of the majors to me. So I kind of really didn't. It feels a little less special for me.
Yeah.
At least leading up to it.
Yep.
But now that I'm here, I'm excited. I'm ready to get it done, and I'm ready to get that extra star. This will be my third of the 6 stars, so I'm just excited to add that other one to my list.
What about you? So as someone that's done it before, what are you most excited about?
So I'm actually doing non-time goals this year. Like, I've got my time goal, but this is the first marathon that I'm doing non-time, and I'm really excited about that. Like, I want to find the funniest race sign on course, and I want to find something unique about every single neighborhood that we run through, or, find one runner to cheer on, or just at every mile. So I'm really excited to kind of add that twist onto the race this year.
And for me, I think it's honestly running with you guys for the first, like, I've ran with Chase before.
Yeah.
But running with the 3 of us at the same race is awesome.
Yeah.
And this is my first time running at a high-level marathon race with all the Jacksonville people that I train with, and a bunch of them are going to be here, and they're all in the same crowd as me and Chase. And I'm just excited to kind of see where I stack with them. And I know there's a group of them that are significantly faster than me, but just having the chance to run with them, hopefully they push me along a little bit. And I'm pretty excited about that because we're all from Florida and we're all here in Chicago running this race, and I think it's pretty cool.
Well, you made a good point there, Jake, and I apologize to you guys for that. But being here with you guys is definitely the highlight of this whole weekend. The fact that we were able to meet in person finally. Of course, I met Jake, but and Carol's going to be in Indy this year too, so it's like, that's pretty cool. But I'm so glad that we were able to do this at this particular race.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it turned out to be, like I said, a great weekend. I was not hesitant, but I was nervous because we had the hurricane coming through in Florida. And honestly, true story, if you guys weren't coming here,
You probably would have.
I probably would have just deferred my race.
Well, and they offered that to the Florida runners, right? They saw that on social media yesterday, day before, but they are offering for Florida runners, in case you are a Florida runner, you didn't know that this was going on, and you couldn't make it to the race this year, they are allowing Florida runners to defer to 2025 because of Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton that's been rampaging you guys. You had to come up 2 days early, Jake.
2 days early to avoid. So I live in northern Florida, and when I got word that Tampa had shut down their airport, Orlando had shut down their airport, I just assumed Jacksonville was going to be next because they were just kind of going further north and north. And I didn't want, it was a gamble. It wasn't shut down as of Monday, and I could either wait it out or I could just change my flights because United, who I was flying through, was offering to change their flights for free, which normally you have to pay a fee. But they said anyone from Florida can change their flights for free. So class acts from the marathon, from United, from whatever. And I didn't want to gamble. I had to pay extra money with the hotels, but it was worth it at the end of the day. They never canceled the flight, so I could have stayed. Could have saved myself a lot of money, but I just didn't. It would have been too nerve-wracking to wait it out for 2 days, hoping that the airport didn't shut down or runways didn't get flooded or anything like that. So we did get hit though with the hurricane, but we got light damage in our area, so we got lucky. You know, my thoughts out to everyone that weren't so lucky, because there was quite a few of them that weren't.
Absolutely. I got a lot of family in Florida as well, so you know, our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's been hit by those hurricanes here recently. Obviously, really happy that you were able to make it up here, Jake. Great to see you, but hopefully everything's still okay. Hopefully things aren't too bad for you when we get back down there.
Well, none of my neighbors had texted me saying, hey, there's a tree on your house, or you know, your car's in your garage right now, you might want to come home. So I think we're okay.
Good deal. So going back to the fact that you guys have done this before, we met at the expo yesterday. Was the expo the same as years past, or do you think that it was
busier?
It was busier. There was a lot more freebies, a lot more samples. I was very impressed yesterday.
You got to hang out there for a little while longer too.
I did.
I got in and you guys went straight there.
Yeah, so we kind of got to explore every booth. Everybody was really nice. The only issue was that Nike line, man. Like, we were here and it was super long, but I think people are realizing that you can get Nike merchandise at multiple places in Chicago, or so.
It's a little. I want to find out the why. I'm sure there's a very good reason why, but why don't they sell the finishers gear at the expo? Because Boston did. Like, I was able to get my finishers jacket at the Boston Expo. Like, that's the only thing I want to get out of the expo for the most part is my finisher gear. I mean, the freebies are nice too, and seeing people, and obviously you got to go get your packet and all that good stuff. But yeah, if you guys didn't know, if you're planning on running Chicago in the future, you can't get your finisher's gear at the expo. It's not even available until the day, technically today. Yeah, and then you can buy it locally here, only at the Nike store here, and it's only one location you can buy it at. And then Carolyn had brought up, you know, Fleet Feet and Heartbreak have some, you know, probably a smaller availability of selection, but yeah, that's the only knock I would have against the expo, and the fact that it was like shoulder to shoulder, you know, people in there. The last time I did it, I ran it with Carolyn, even though Carolyn, we didn't know each other at the time, and it was right, like, the pandemic was still the pandemic, and they had those restrictions in place. So it was like a ghost town in the expo that year. You had to line up, you know, wear your mask. So this was very different, busier than I thought it was going to be, and I think part of it's because the only thing I had to compare it to was the pandemic version of the expo. So.
Yeah, people probably back then were a little more hesitant to be in crowds of people. So you probably had a lot more people just coming and grabbing their packet and then taking off. If that was even the case, they may have even, I don't know if they had any kind of mail option or something back then.
Well, we also went on, the three of us, we went on probably the busiest day during the busiest time, right? Like, if we were probably there at the end of the day, it probably would have been better, or if we were there a day earlier, it probably was better.
So the expo started on Thursday. That's typically expos for these majors go about 3 or 4 days before the day of the race. And yeah, of course, it always benefits to get there the first day,
if possible.
And then the only thing I had to compare it to, obviously, was the other expos that I've been to, because I've never been to Chicago before. But I definitely liked the setup, they had a lot of stuff. They definitely had a lot of stuff. They had a lot of good things for you. You know, me and Cynthia this morning were talking about Berlin. Of course, I did Berlin last year. She did Berlin this year. Berlin is just a nightmare of an expo to try and get into. They don't let non-runners in, so if you go there with one, like your wife or your spouse or anything, like you got to fight to get them into the expo. So definitely, probably, it's cool because they set up a good location. I think that's Berlin's problem is they have a great course, they have a good location for their expo, but it just seems so disorganized and kind of hectic. So I think Berlin's got a lot of good stuff going for them. They just need to organize it a little bit better. But and not that yesterday's was all that organized, but they just had a lot of good stuff, and it wasn't like pulling teeth to try to get anywhere.
I got a lot of slime from the slime booth.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you did.
when you have a 3-year-old, that was probably the highlight of her idea of what the expo was. But I think we got like 12 things of slime. It's all over our hotel room right now, by the way. Sorry, Hyatt. That neon green and orange spot on the rug's probably my 3-year-old daughter. So.
That's why they get the security deposit from you, right?
Yeah. Can I borrow your credit card, Chase? I'm going to switch those cards.
So yeah, me and Jake both, we're staying at the Hyatt Regency, which we got through the marathon.
Marathon booking page.
Marathon booking, through Chicago Marathon booking. Pretty pricey, but we're pretty close. So I don't know if it was.
So, and believe it or not, it is pricey. If you guys have ever ran any of the marathon majors, you guys know they jack up the prices of hotels, especially the closer you are to the start and or finish of the race. And here it happens to be both, right? It's a round, a circle. So here, like the going rate for this hotel is usually in the $200, like $235, $250 range, and we got the discounted rate, which was like $345, I think, or somewhere around there.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, it's pretty pricey. It was a lot more in the end than I thought I was paying in the beginning. But they've definitely gone all out. I mean, you're close. We're right in downtown Chicago. We're really close to the waterfront. We're really close to the start and finish line. And they're doing a lot of cool stuff. So you got to give it to them for the effort that they're putting in. So I don't know that I'd consider it worth it or not. I mean, you've done it more than I have.
I think it is. I really do. Like, I like the convenience of the hotel, which is what you're paying for essentially, as a convenience. Right. And then, to Chase's point, we got a little goodie bag when we checked in that was for runners only. They got the pasta dinner that they did last night and they're doing tonight. They're opening up the market inside at 4 a.m. So if you want to go get stuff before you go to the race, you can go do that. Yeah. And there's a lot of other runners that are staying here. Like, I think everyone here is a runner, I feel like.
Probably, yeah. So yeah, all in all, trying to book something through the marathon website, it's not. It's convenient because you're getting like all the specifics that come along with the marathon, but it is going to be pricey. You are going to pay for it.
Yep. And then Carolyn's staying with family. Lucky.
Yes. Yep. We're staying with a couple we met on our honeymoon, and they've become family. It's like a yearly tradition. We stay with them, and they're in the Lincoln Park area.
Their honeymoon was in Egypt, if you guys don't remember.
We did.
So they met this couple from Chicago in Egypt.
Yep. And they offered their house, and it's wild. We're actually going to be running near their house, mile 7, when we run by the Lincoln Park Zoo. It'll be nice. Just kind of wave at their house.
Crazy where you meet friends, huh?
Right.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they turn out to be like normal people. So
they're
that's
completely
good.
Yes, completely normal.
Because that's the risk, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of normal people, of course, we're all here with our support groups. My wife is here. Carolyn's husband's here. Jake, your wife and daughter are here.
Yep.
So shout out to them for being our support group and our biggest fans day in and day out.
I do have to give a special shout out to my wife because it's actually her birthday tomorrow.
That's right.
So extra kudos to her because she's putting up with this marathon weekend on what should be her birthday weekend. And she's coming out to watch this race. So I am treating her to birthday festivities after the race. I promise you guys. I'm not going to be a horrible husband.
So you're trying to say that she did not ask for you to run the Chicago Marathon for her birthday?
She did not. No,
okay.
She
that was not her
not.
birthday wish. I would have guessed that.
Yeah. No, she's like, are you going to do Chicago this year? Because that's all I want for my birthday.
Oh man, what a
You're
dream.
in luck. You're in luck.
All I want is to go to Chicago.
Happy wife, happy life. You know, all right, that's what you want, babe. I'll take the bullet for you. Hopefully next year she wants to go to Boston on her birthday, for her birthday, but just a little early.
Yeah, of course, my wife, our in-laws live in Chicago, so I've been up here for a few days. We stayed with my father-in-law for a couple days and kept the car parked at his house so I could avoid the Chicago parking fees.
Oh yeah. How far away is that? Like.
It's a half hour without traffic, but an hour with.
Okay.
So it took us about 55 minutes to get in from his house.
Okay.
It was in Niles, Illinois, which is funny because that is my wife's maiden name, is Niles. So,
Niles?
So his name is John Niles, and he lives in Niles. I probably shouldn't put that on there. His address and his credit score are.
Oh gosh. Oh.
But it's just kind of funny.
Well, awesome, John. Or I won't say it. I won't
Yeah.
repeat it. JN. Those were the initials. Now, are you guys planning on doing any running after? When do you guys go back, actually?
I fly out Sunday eve. Like, we have the latest flight
I'm
tomorrow.
not wasting any time on marathon day. She's getting to have a dog.
Listen, the plan is to cross the finish line, get my medal, lay on the ground for about 15 minutes, and then go to the Nike store so I can get merchandise.
I'm going to stick around and wait for other people I know. Like if I'm tracking them and they're still not there, like I might stick around as long as I can, you know, just to see them.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm not too far behind Chase, so you don't have to wait too long for me.
We'll see, man. Like I said, who knows what I'm going to be doing tomorrow.
And then Carolyn's gonna probably bust out a 240 tomorrow and smoke us all. She's just being humble. She's being super humble about it, but
Trying.
It's one of those non-time goals.
Non-time goal is to crush everyone.
my A+ goal is a 240.
Non-time goals. I just want to find the person with the funniest sign. I want to find the most energetic fan. I want to beat Chase and Jake.
Like and then you gotta have a shirt made. Like I beat my co-host on the podcast.
And I'll have you guys sign it.
Fastest RunTok Live host.
Yep, exactly. And Brooks will create the shirt.
Oh God,
Good stuff.
you can have it. It's yours.
Oh man, gladly.
And then you're going back Monday.
I'm gonna go back to my in-laws Monday, and then we'll actually go back home Tuesday.
Okay, so we'll be around for a little bit.
Stay with my in-laws again for another night.
Yeah, we'll be here till late Monday night. Like our flight leaves at 9 o'clock in the evening Monday night, so we're gonna spend the majority of the day here doing touristy stuff while our luggage is checked in at the hotel.
Sure.
Yeah.
What are your favorite touristy things to do in Chicago?
My wife is restaurants.
Restaurants.
Yeah, she loves checking out all the food scenes. We're taking her to someplace awesome for her birthday.
And we did get our deep dish pizzas last night.
Got our deep dish
Got
pizza.
that Chicago style pizza out of the way.
I like this strip that we're on. Like, there's just a ton of cool stuff. I mean, yeah, you got the bean, but when we have a kid, we got to factor in, well, what's good for kid stuff, too.
Right.
And there's a really big, giant park that's right here. Like, it's huge. There's the rock climbing walls, the ice skating ring. There's the fountains, which are kind of pretty and picturesque. Those aren't open right now, but they will be after the marathon. And the bean, I know it's the bean. People from Chicago are probably going, oh, it's the bean, like whatever. But we go check out the bean. We like it.
Yeah,
So.
just something cool to see.
Yeah. And then the river walk is always nice down here too.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you?
Carolyn, what about you? Touristy
So, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast, but my favorite movie is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
stuff? Right? Yeah.
You
So-
did.
I mentioned that.
Yeah.
We talk about movies enough.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, the Art Institute is always a big one.
That's right here too.
Yeah. Totally recommend that. There's a couple other museums as well.
And I think the Art Institute's the second largest art institute in the country.
So,
Yep.
New York has the biggest one.
So definitely recommend that. The architectural boat tour is always super fun. Our first year we did the observation deck. So you would download this app and it was like point your phone at any building and it would show you if it made it through the fire, which 95% of the buildings didn't. The story behind the building, and it was just.
Was that at Willis Tower? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So those are the things that I would recommend and what I love doing.
Yeah.
So.
And the tour actually starts right here. There's a staircase that goes down to it.
Oh,
You catch the tickets right here.
Yeah, Willis Tower, of course, that's the Sears Tower, the tallest building in Chicago. But they have the little windows that you can go up in there and stand, so that you're actually out, like suspended in midair.
Have you done it yet?
Oh yeah.
I haven't done it yet,
wow.
but I want to. I don't think I could take my wife to do that though. I don't.
I got a picture of me and my wife. That's been years ago that we've done that. I haven't been back to Willis Tower in a long time. But.
Okay, so no fear of heights from Chase. That's good.
I think I have it's an age thing. I think I'm developing like a mild fear of heights.
Is it fear of height, or is it more like a vertigo thing?
Might be like a vertigo thing, 'cause it's not like a debilitating fear, right? Like I'm not afraid to go on like roller coasters. I love roller coasters. I love them. But there's times where I'm just like really high, and I'm just like, this is unsettling.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just natural. Maybe that's not really a fear of heights, but like there's times when I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to be this high right now.
Like, what if this is the one time the window cracks? Like,
Right. Exactly. So, but no, I'm pretty good with heights.
Yeah. I'm usually good with heights too. Yeah. I don't like motion. Like even on the Uber rides that we did today, I was getting a little motion sickness in there. So motion gets me. I don't do good on roller coasters because of the motion. It's not the heights or being upside down or anything. That doesn't bother me. Motion bothers me. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely with your wife on Chicago. Like, the thing that I look forward to the most when I come to Chicago is food, for sure. And it all starts with that deep dish Chicago-style pizza. We went to Illuminati's last night, which Illuminati's and, like, Giordano's are, like, just probably two of the famous ones.
The two, like, biggest chains within the...
Sure. And I think I prefer Giordano's a little bit, but I did get a small pizza last night, and I think when it comes to deep dish Chicago style pizzas, you need to get one bigger, because
they're thicker.
you're gonna have the most stuffing in there. So I'm willing to try Illuminati's again for sure, to try and see if the large pizzas are a little bit better. But Giordano's is solid. Check them out.
So all right, so this is your first Chicago, second Chicago, the first time we're all together. Let's say we got some new listeners on here. What's one tip each that we're giving them based on our experience so far for when they're ready to do Chicago Marathon, whether it be city tourist related, race related, expo related, etc.?
You guys have done it before, so you guys have some more experience to draw on. My
tip, this almost goes across the board for all races though, is a travel tip, and that is pack your race gear in your carry-on. I feel like that's a go-to. But all your race gear, your shoes, your socks, your singlet, your hat, you're gonna wear it, whatever shapage gel you need, like have your absolute race day necessities in your carry-on. Because the further you travel, the higher risk you are of having lost luggage or delayed luggage or something.
Yeah, so I didn't have to worry about that this time.
Yeah,
I got to drive my car. First time that's happened, obviously I had to fly out to Boston and fly to Berlin. But yeah, that's a good tip.
Yep.
What about you, Caroline?
Mine is for race day, is look around. You're running through 21 neighborhoods of Chicago. This is an expensive tour, so, look around. Appreciate the city. Notice the little quirks on course. Like, not many people notice, but mile 24, there are nuns that will throw holy water on you. Or, I didn't realize that until last year when I looked around. I was like, holy cow. But this course is really iconic. There's a lot of little things happening on the sidelines for you to look at too, to kind of get you out of your head.
And actually, I will say, because you just brought it up, at mile 26, which is kind of right where the hill is, there's an archway that has a cameraman right there. Take advantage of that cameraman, because that's kind of going to be your better picture versus even the finish line photo. So if you want your photo doing your cheer or something like that, he's going to be up there right when you're about to suffer on this hill.
Yes, and on that hill, do not get stuck into a pocket of people, because last year, I got stuck on the far left side, and my goal is always to not walk up that hill. I was forced to, because you have a bunch of people around you, like, just being little turtles. So just don't get stuck into a pocket on the side.
Try not to get out. Try to get out of your group.
Yeah, just move out there.
Hopefully,
Yep.
Hopefully you do, but yeah.
you finally break loose at the .2 mark.
Yep. And I mean, your last mile, you get signage. There's a crud ton of people, so you should be able to kind of create your own path. So.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And I think I would argue, I would make that same bit of advice for any of the marathon majors. You know, I remember my first time when I went to Boston and ran that for the first time. It was like I wore headphones and regretted it. You know, because it was just one of those situations where running with music is nice, and it's a big part of why running's become such a booming sport over the past few years because of the technology and everything. But these majors, you're going to have wall-to-wall people on both sides of you the entire way. Even Boston, that was a one-way course, was just end-to-end, people cheering you on both sides. So, you know, keep your eyes open and remember that part of the reason that these races are as big as they are is because they're in iconic cities like Chicago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely, no matter what major you're doing, or really what marathon you're doing, you know, take advantage of the sights and sounds that you're going to see.
One of the things I see online a lot, like for Chicago, for example, I'm part of the Chicago Marathon or Bust page on Facebook. I'll see a bunch of people that ran it before, and they'll talk about, oh, it's a long course. So I got 26.6 miles. I got 26.4 miles, whatever it may be. What a lot of people don't realize, though, is unless you're, again, up in the very front, Corral A, elite corral, the sub-elite corral, who have the ability to run the tangents without having to run around people consistently, the people that are in any other corral, they're going to be dodging people.
Right.
They're going to be on the outside of turns. It's almost impossible to run the tangents, or even if you are running the tangents, before those tangents, you're still weaving in and out of people. I don't believe, because I got 26.2 miles when I clocked it.
Right on?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like 26.22 or something
That's
like that. But it isn't a long course. It's that little bit of weaving. If you're doing that for the majority of the race, that makes a big difference.
You're going to add time to it.
That makes a big difference. So.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. So I ended up with 26.4 miles last year, and I can tell you exactly why. Like, I would, veer off to the side for water stops or to just take a break. One of the times I literally just stopped, just gathered myself for a couple seconds and continued running. But those little, running to water stations, that adds up.
Yeah, a couple steps here and there.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
And so I don't know if that counts as a tip, but it's a piece of advice.
Yeah, it's a piece of advice that goes to any of these major, big time marathons. Not just the majors, but like the big ones, right? Like I can
Monumental, Grand Longs.
Monumental. I can talk about Disney in that same regard. Disney for sure.
Because especially the people that step off to take pictures with the characters.
There's a lot of weaving in and out of people at Disney, no matter what skill level you're at. It's not just because I'm faster than average. It's, even when I ran with my sister, we were still doing that.
Oh yeah.
So.
Something to consider. Don't assume the course is measured incorrectly. It's a good chance you didn't realize that you were actually running further because of all the extra stuff you did along the way.
Yeah, and because of that, take a couple seconds per mile off of your goal mile time. So like, for example, yours is 6:40, aim for a 6:38 to account for, those extra steps and stuff. So.
Good stuff.
As far as stuff that I would suggest being my first time here in Chicago, I think the only thing I would really think of is I'd go to the expo on day one.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about. It can be kind of a pain, and obviously it can get expensive because you're staying somewhere a day early or a day longer than you normally would. But yeah, if you go to the expo on day one, you're getting the best of all the situations. They got the most in stock. You probably got the least amount of people, and it's just a lot easier.
Yeah, they keep. What I have learned is, like, size small in anything, men or women, tend to go first at the expo. By the time you get to the end of the expo, all you're looking at is extra larges and double extra larges, and the sizes that they don't have to disperse of them as much as the smalls and the mediums. Right. So that's something to consider. And then also, like I said, if your sole reason to go to the expo is for finishers gear, at least in Chicago, you don't really need to make the expo a priority at that point then.
And fun fact, if you're looking for fun well, Chicago marathon gear, go to any of the Nike stores, the Nike on Michigan, the day of race day, because they have so many extra t-shirts that they don't sell online, they don't sell at the expo. Like I got this really nice t-shirt with a full map of Chicago, and it listed all the neighborhoods. It was black and red, which wasn't the Chicago colors back in 2021 when I got it, but there's so many extra. Well, I didn't see that, so that's cool. But they have so many extra shirts that you wouldn't even see at the expo, and so yeah.
So that's the big secret, is to hit
That's
the Nike store
Yep.
right after the race.
Correct.
That's what a lot of people do, and it'll still be packed. There'll still be a line.
Yep. And then
I just order mine online. That's what I did for this one. I just didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Also, again, I had a wife. Even then, I had my wife and daughter. My daughter was only 1 year old at that time, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't sound like something that I want to put myself through.
It definitely.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
And that's you know, I was thinking that yesterday at the expo too. Like, if there is one thing as a runner that I find to be so amazing and so depressing at the same time, it's an expo, because there's so many really cool stuff. There's so much cool stuff going on around you. But man, there's so many people, and trying to navigate through all those people is just ridiculous sometimes.
Well, and I feel like a lot of them, like when you go to your corral in the race, you can talk to those people and they're going to be super friendly. They're all pumped up. Their energy's super high. But like when you get to the expo, there's a little bit of a different like urgency vibe to them. They're just like they're kind of nervous of where they're at.
Stuff. They want what they want, and then they want to get out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, like nobody wants to talk to you.
Yeah. It is. It's definitely a way different energy than it is on race day.
Yeah, because race day, that's going to be my other piece of advice. When you're in your corral, because you're going to be sitting in your corral for a while, meet some people, make some friends.
Yep.
Talk to them, say hi. Maybe you'll meet someone that you could stay with at the next race that you go to.
Yeah, exactly. That happened to me. Ran into somebody at mile 14, or they ran up to me because I guess I was doing consistent pacing, and ended up running CIM with me back in 2022.
I was pretty impressed how many people actually came up to you yesterday, Carolyn. I know you're involved with Brooks, but there were some other people that weren't Brooks runners that you knew.
Yeah, and it was, from past races, and there's this guy that I'm friends with. He lives in California, and we met literally on Mount Roosevelt, and we ran in together, and he was like, "Hey, thanks for getting me through that, because you're gonna need everybody for that little hill." So, yeah, just talk to people. And, this race, I'm actually not listening to music. So that's a new thing for me. I'm listening to David Goggins' podcasts. And, I can hear through talk. Like, I can hear people cheering through David Goggins talking. So it's...
Do you have those Shocks headphones?
I do. And I totally recommend. I'm not an ambassador or anything, but I really enjoy them.
Is that something that you had to get used to as far as wearing? Because, I just look at them and I'm immediately saying no. Yeah. I'm not putting that on my head. Yep.
Well, I didn't have much of a choice because I have small ears, and I couldn't do AirPods. I couldn't, the over-the-head earphones are not cool. But those are nice. They don't move. It is interesting having something around your neck, but they don't move, and you can adjust the volume.
I think they've actually come out with some recently that you don't have the thing wrapping around your neck. I think. Cool. I'm not 100% sure there. But,
okay.
But yeah, just I'm not willing to pay the money. Yeah. If I was able to try some first, then I'd try them, but I'm not going to buy a pair of those. It's just they're too far out there. They're like those Puma shoes that we saw at the expo yesterday.
That was my first time seeing them, holding them in my hand, and those Pumas are.
But I know the Shocks headphones are pretty popular.
Yeah, they are. I see a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And to your point, Carolyn, headphones are just like anything, right? We're all different human beings that are built different, and biology different. Everything's a little bit different. That's why we have that talk about shoes a lot, and even clothes. And the same thing's even true for headphones. I like my standard AirPods stay in my ears just fine. Yep. And I had the AirPods Pros for a little while. Anytime he's got that little rubber piece, they just push right out of my ears. They never stay in my ears.
Yeah.
So, but the regular AirPods, they were great.
Yeah, I got big, pointy ears, so earphones just don't feel comfortable in my ear no matter what.
Yeah.
But just check out Shocks. They're safe anyway.
I'm a fan. So. Yeah. Okay.
So you're listening to Goggins tomorrow.
Yeah, back-to-back David Goggins podcasts. I need somebody telling me, like, I thrive off, toxic talk. Like, David Goggins, one time, I was on a speed workout, and I ran it too fast, because he ended up telling me, I don't feel sorry for you if you're lazy. And I was like, thanks, David.
See,
thanks.
we've had that discussion, too, on the podcast, because, like, I'm the same way. I don't respond well to, like, if I don't do good, and I don't do good, then you come up to me and say, oh, you gave it
your
your effort,
best.
bud.
Yeah.
You did the best you could. But that doesn't motivate me at all. Like, I'm gonna look at you and I'm just gonna want to punch you in the face. And that's just how I am. So I'm not telling you not to tell me good job. I won't literally punch you in the face. I'm just saying I don't want to. But no, when I'm doing bad, I need somebody to come up to me and be like, you sucked.
Yep.
Or you are sucking right now, and you need to get your ass in gear. Because that's just how I am. That's what I respond to.
Yeah.
And if you're going to tell me, oh, you're doing just fine, then I'm going to think to myself, oh, yeah, I am doing just fine. When the reality is, I wish I was doing a little bit better.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I'm the same way too. We've all talked about it. Like, just be brutally honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
If I mess up, tell me I messed up, and this is what you need to do to fix it. Go fix it. Like,
So if you guys are out there watching me on the course, I'm sure we won't have that. We won't have this episode. I'll try to get this episode up tonight if I can.
that'd be great, but no.
But if you see me on the course and I am well behind the 3-hour group, don't tell me I'm doing a good job. Tell me to suck it up and get up there with them.
Exactly.
You're
Yeah.
like, Carolyn's 10 minutes ahead of you, Chase. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, what happened? Fast as toast.
We're gonna pull a Kelvin Kipton on you and be like, when you're 2 miles out, Carolyn, finish. You got a PR.
I will never forget that moment. I was so mad. Because I hit the wall last year at 15. I went out too fast, honestly. Didn't fuel till 15. No, didn't hydrate until mile 15. And having this dude tell me at 14 when I was fighting for my life, I was like, you need to sit down, man. That's ridiculous.
Yep. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to also just get, kind of like you were talking about, I'm excited just to get the race over with too. Like,
Yeah.
get it off my list, off my calendar, and
See,
start something new.
Yeah, I fell into a really toxic place in this last month or so. I'll talk about it here for a second because there's a reason for it, I think. But for the past like 3 or 4 weeks, basically since my half marathon I did, I have just been in the mood that I just want to get this over with. I'm done being excited about it now. Being here and going to the expo and everything,
Yeah.
I mean, everything's got me hyped back up, and I knew that it would. But leading up to the race, I was just ready to get it over with. I just wanted to get it crossed off the list. And I think the reason for that is because I didn't train for anything in between here and Carmel back in April. So it was like, basically when I was done with Carmel, I started my Chicago Marathon training block. So that's like a 6-month-long training block. So I think that's really why I got burnt out in the end. I think if I would have trained for something in the middle of the summer, like 5K or 10K or something, everything would have been a little bit better. But hindsight's 20/20. So, but that's why I feel like I've just been so over it lately. But I'm pumped now. I'm ready to get to that finish line tomorrow.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm pumped, but my brain is starting to realize we gotta do 26.2 miles. Wait, what? Like, I haven't done that since January, earlier this year. Like, how you get? That's a lot of miles, man. You can't just wake up and just crank that out like nothing. So that's where I'm at. I'm excited, but the race day nerves are kicking in.
I'm just excited that I think it's helping me knowing that there's going to be a lot of faces that I know out there that I have a chance to stay with or continue to see along the course. And that's motivating to me. Like, oh, Stephen West is up there. All right, let's go chase down Stephen West. Oh, Oliver Ernest is up there. Let's go chase down Oliver Ernest. Like, that, I don't know. I've never had that in a race. Like, it's always been 1 or 2 people. Like, now there's 20 people in a marathon. I get it all the time locally in the 5Ks and the 10Ks that we do. You know, I know everybody that races those. And I think that's exciting to have my core group from Florida that I get to kind of try to stay with and like I said, hopefully help push me. So
Yeah, when you might recognize people on the sidelines.
I won't. I brought up this point before. I have horrible runner's vision, and I will not recognize anybody on the sideline.
That's funny.
So, again, if you cheer Jake on while I'm running by, chances are I'm not going to hear you.
Not gonna see.
He's not going to see him.
But no, it's cool. At mile 13, when you're running over one of the bridges, there's a huge pocket of people. And so chances are, like, somebody will yell out your name or whatever. If they're tracking you, some people will put their names on their shirts. So people will shout your name, and it's really cool to hear that.
Yeah. Well, our names are on our bibs too, right? I think they are. Yeah, so you get people that shout your names out all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what me and Dave were talking about earlier. Because David's from England.
Yeah.
So he was, he liked how in Boston, everybody was yelling his name because they could read it on his shirt. Hey, go, David! He was really, really excited about that. But then in Germany, when he ran Berlin, like, people were yelling his name, but not like it wasn't clear. You couldn't hear it. Like, David, they're saying with accent, but not as many people were screaming his name. And he was like, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
They got the names on the bib so that they can do that. It really helps me get going.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
all right, guys.
I don't know. I have a good feeling about tomorrow for all of us.
Me too.
You know, like when you feel calm, but like dangerously calm. Like, we're going to be all right. It's going to be a good day.
Well, and I'll say this before we go. I ran an easy run yesterday. I ran yesterday, right? And I felt like I was running ridiculously slow. I was just taking my time along the water, taking video while I was running.
Yeah.
And then I looked down, and I'm going at an 8:05 pace. And an 8:05 pace is, like, I felt like I was going a lot slower. Like I was purposely trying to do like 9:30. But I think the weather, being from Florida, coming here, it just instantly has me feeling better, and that gave me a little bit of confidence for me running this race, or running yesterday, and my ability to run tomorrow's race.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's just kind of natural when you're in a city environment like this, and you're in, you know, and you're trying to make content too. I always naturally go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
I'm not really paying attention, but
That probably a lot of that is I wasn't paying attention, and I was filming and looking at the geese that are. I hate geese, by the way. And when I was running by them, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go a little quicker, like for you guys.
That's so funny.
You guys are the devils, but.
All right. Well, we've been going for like 50 minutes now. It's 50 minutes in person recording. Do we want? I don't know if we want to announce anything else or not. Because I don't know if I can get it up in time today.
I think we're in a good spot.
Okay. Yeah, we would give out our bib numbers, but I don't think there's any point in doing it. We might not get this out before the race, but yeah, if you do track us at Chicago, make sure you're hollering at us if you're on the course. And if we did see you, it was nice. Thank you for cheering us on. We had fun at the expo. We had fun at the shakeout run this morning. Just thank you to everybody that showed up. Carolyn, you want to do the usual social call?
Yeah. You can follow us on Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, all under Run Talk Live. You can email us at runtalklive@gmail.com. You can. That should be pretty much. Yes, all of our social media. We got all the things.
Yeah, we got all the things. All the things.
All the things. You can find me on TikTok at Carolyn McDuff and Instagram at Carolyn M. Levinway. Chase, where can people find you?
Chaser No Pacer on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. And Jake?
The Cultural Runner, all social media platforms. I had a name badge that even had that on there. That I totally forgot I was wearing all day.
Yeah, we should have kept those on.
Oh yeah, Cultural Runner. That's where you find me.
All right. And thanks again to Lauren for organizing the run this morning. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate seeing everybody. And good luck, guys, tomorrow. Good luck to everybody else. Hope everybody had a good Chicago that is listening to this afterwards. We'll talk to everybody later.
Peace out.